New construction single family in Kapolei, and this one has the most room at Kaulu.
Let me start with the one number that should change how you shop this entire community. This is Makali, the biggest floor plan of the three single-family models here at Kaulu by Gentry in Kapolei on Oahu's west side. It's a three-bedroom, 2.5 bath, two-car garage home, about 1,592 square feet, and it starts right around $988,000. Now, the entry model here, the smallest one, starts around 967,000. So the difference between the smallest single-family home in this community and the biggest is only about $21,000. Hold on to that, because when you do the real math, it tells you something most buyers completely miss. The biggest home is one of the best values on the lot, by the foot. Let me prove it. I'm going to keep the tour of the house itself light. The finishes are on your screen and every model here shows beautifully. So let's spend our time on the numbers because the numbers are where the decision actually lives. Here's the per square foot picture. Across all of Oahu, the median single-family home runs about $701 a foot. Older Kapolei resale is about $577, and new construction here at Kaulu is around $616. Now look at the models inside Kaulu. The smallest one, because a house has fixed costs, the kitchen, the garage, the systems spread over fewer feet, comes out to about $640 a foot. This one, Makali'i, the biggest, comes out to about 620. So the largest home is actually cheaper per square foot than the smallest. That already flips most people's assumptions. But here's the part that really matters, and it's the sharpest number in this video. Let's look at what the extra space actually costs you. Going from the smallest model to this one adds about 84 square feet, and it adds about $21,000. Divide it out, and that extra space is costing you around $250 a foot. $250 against an average of $620 in this home and $700 island-wide. So the marginal square footage, the space you add by stepping up to the biggest model, is some of the cheapest square footage you will buy anywhere on Oahu. That is the single strongest argument for buying the largest floor plan when the models are priced this close together. You are essentially picking up an extra room's worth of space at a discount to everything around it. And compare that per foot number to the townhomes we toured here, which ran roughly $600 to $700 a foot. This detached single family at about 620 is right in that same range. You're buying a detached home with no shared walls and your own lot for about the same price per square foot as an attached townhome. That is unusual, and it's a direct result of how these were priced. Before we go further, a quick word on financing because it's on every buyer's mind. On a new home like this, Gentry offers a builder credit of about 3% that you can put toward closing costs or toward buying down your interest rate. Terms like that can change, so have your agent confirm before you write an offer. But that builder credit isn't the only way to deal with today's rates. If you'd rather buy resale, there's another route most buyers don't know about. Right now, there are close to 100 homes across Oahu in all kinds of price ranges and neighborhoods, where you can take over the seller's existing loan instead of getting a new one, a few locked in the 2 to 3% range. I keep the full list. If you want it, click the link below and drop your email, and I'll send it over, free. Let me talk demand for a second because it tells you how the market is voting. Single-family homes here at Kaulu are selling in about 15 days with roughly half a month of supply at essentially 100% of list price, and closings are up 175% over the year. That is about as tight and fast as it gets. And the bigger floor plans are not the ones sitting, they move right along with the rest. Because as we just covered, on a per foot basis, they're the value play. So if you're waiting for the biggest model to go on sale, that's not how this market is behaving. These price at list and they sell. And each new phase has tended to open a little higher than the last, so the price you're looking at today is likely the floor, not the ceiling, for this floor plan. There's one more framing that matters. Makali'i is the most square footage you can buy new in this community for under $1 million. The moment you want more home than this, the next tier in Kaulu, the larger homes on bigger lots, jumps past a million. Some have sold between 1.05 and 1.1 million. So this model sits right at the top of the under a million bracket, the biggest new home here before the price crosses seven figures. Let me put that in real terms. That 84 feet is the difference between a kitchen you cook in and a kitchen with an island you can gather around, between a living room and a living room that fits everyone. Buying small to save $21,000 is usually the wrong call because you feel the missing space every single day. Now let me widen the lens because this all sits inside a bigger market story. Over the past year, the typical single-family home in older Kapolei actually fell about 15% to a median near 850,000. Meanwhile, Oahu's single-family median overall rose about 3.5% to roughly 1.14 million. And new construction here at Kaulu held firm and ticked up to around 974,000. So Makali'i at 988 is priced above the Kaulu median because it's the most home in the group. But it is still more than $150,000 below the island-wide median single-family price, and you're getting new construction and the most living space of any model here. For a buyer who wants room, that combination is hard to beat on this island right now. Let me unpack that Kapolei drop because a 15% decline in a median sounds alarming, and it shouldn't. A median is just the middle sale. And older Kapolei is a broad mix. Small homes, big homes, some that needed work, some leasehold. When the mix leans towards smaller or more dated homes, the median falls even if no individual house lost value. So the older resale market got softer and more mixed, while new construction stayed firm on strong demand. That divergence is the real signal. It's also why comparing a resale listings price to a new home can mislead you. They're different kinds of homes with different costs of ownership. A new home has no deferred maintenance, no aging roof or air conditioner waiting to cost you, and no surprise special assessment. Older can absolutely be the right buy, but you have to price in what you'll spend to keep it up, and that's a number the sticker never shows. The Kaulu premium over older Kapolei, about $40 a foot, is largely the market pricing in exactly that difference. Here's another way the data favors the bigger home, and it's about the day you eventually sell. Homes with more usable space and a well-designed layout appeal to the widest pool of buyers. People who work from home, anyone who wants a real dining area and a second living space. This model has a lounge area on the second floor on top of the main living area downstairs. So you effectively get two gathering spaces, which is rare at this price. Let me put a number on why that second living area matters more than it used to. A large share of buyers now work from home at least part of the week. And this layout has a home office nook off the kitchen plus that upstairs lounge, so you can separate work, living, and sleeping without adding a fourth bedroom. That flexibility is worth real money and rarely shows up in the listing price.
And here's a cost per bedroom angle worth knowing. All three models are three-bedroom homes, so the extra square footage in this one doesn't go into more bedrooms. It goes into living space, the kitchen, the dining, the two lounges. In other words, you're not paying for rooms you'll rarely use. You're paying for the shared space you actually live in every day. Framed that way, the biggest model isn't excess. It's the space that gets used. Broad appeal is what protects your resale, and the largest, most flexible floor plan tends to hold that appeal the best. I'm not promising you anything about future prices. Nobody really can, but all else equal, the home that the most buyers can see themselves in is the easier one to sell later. That's a real factor, and it quietly favors this model. So who is this specific home for? The buyer who wants the most usable space in the community, who works from home or wants a real second living area, who values a detached home and covered parking for 2 cars over a big yard, and who's fine putting money into square footage instead of land. If that's you, the per foot math is squarely in your favor. If it's not, if you're a smaller household or on a tighter budget, the entry model or a townhome will serve you better, and there's no wrong answer, only the one that fits how you actually live. Let me be clear about what you actually own, because it matters and people get it wrong. These are CPR, zero lot line, detached single-family homes, fee simple. In plain English, a real standalone house, your own walls, your own front and back, and you own the land under it. The lot is compact, roughly 2,003 to 2,600 square feet. So this is a true single-family home, but not a big lot property. You're trading yard size for square footage inside the home and a detached, low-maintenance footprint. And with the biggest floor plan, you're putting your money into living space rather than land you'd have to maintain. For a lot of buyers, that's exactly the right priority.
So here's where we land. Makali'i is the biggest floor plan at Ka'ulu, around 988,000, the most living space of any model here at about $620 a foot, cheaper than the entry model and well under the island's 700. To say it in one line, it's the most home you can buy new in this community for under $1 million at a per foot rate that beats the island and rivals a townhome. The extra space over the smallest home costs roughly $250 a foot, which is some of the cheapest square footage on Oahu. It's new construction holding its value while older Kapolei resale softened. And it sells as fast as anything here, at full price. If you want room and you can use it, the data says buy the biggest one. If you can't, don't, and I'll help you find the model that fits. Either way, my job is the numbers, not the pressure. So remember, there are two ways around today's rates. On a new home like this, it's the builder's credit toward a rate buy down. On resale, it's stepping into the seller's low rate loan. And right now, there are almost 100 Oahu homes where you can. Want the list? Click the link below, drop your email, and I'll send it to you. And if you're relocating to Oahu, moving for the military, or planning from the mainland, reach out. And I'll keep you posted on the next single family release, the pricing and the timing, so you're ready when it opens. In the next video, we'll stay right here at Ka'ulu and look at the model with the upgraded finishes. And I'll show you what its speed and its price trend tell us about where this market is going. After that, we leave the west side and head to central Oahu to Koa Ridge by Castle and Cook, a completely different kind of community, so you can compare. If this data-first approach is useful to you, let me know in the comments, because this is exactly the kind of video I want to make more of. I'm Oksana with Island Living Oahu. Subscribe and I'll see you in the next one.